Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. Very excited about today's show. We're talking about the Lakers. Did Lonzo Ball purposely avoid his rematch with De'Aaron Fox? And Dion Waiters is in studio. He's got some very interesting words directed at LeBron James. Plus, Dana White joins the show to break down Mayweather and McGregor. Skip, Shannon, let's debate. Joining us now is a man that will be there, the president of UFC, Dana White. Dana, welcome back to Undisputed.
Welcome. Thank you.
So before we talk Conor Floyd tonight, the UFC is kicking off the brand new Contender Series.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Well, basically, I started getting back on the road a couple of years ago and going out and looking at talent in some of these smaller shows, and I liked it. So I'm going to start bringing the talent to me. We're going to do it in the Tough Gym, which is, not much bigger than this area here, and it's a very unique, fun place to watch fights.
So, what should we expect, especially from Conor McGregor, at today's media session?
I don't know. Obviously, I think that there's going to be, Conor McGregor is the best at mental warfare. I think it begins today.
Yep.
Both guys have pretty much been quiet leading up to today. I think that Conor is going to do what Conor does and start to try to get into Floyd's head. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth between these two verbally, and I'm there to make sure that nothing happens physically.
Are you supposed to referee, so to speak?
Well, no. I think the way that this thing is going to play out is, first of all, this isn't going to be your typical UFC exactly. This is going to be, there's a lot of egos involved in this event. There's going to be a lot of people talking that probably don't need to talk. And, usually I just roll in and say, welcome everybody who has the first question, because it's about two guys.
Right.
It's about Conor and it's about Floyd. I think you're going to hear from a lot of people today that you normally wouldn't, probably don't want to. And then we're going to square them off. And I think that Team Mayweather's guys are going to be there, and I'm going to be there with Conor. And between the two of us, we will make sure that they don't touch each other.
When we spoke in New York, you said there was really no chance of this fight happening. And I asked you off camera, I said, where's your Super Bowl ring? Because you said you were going to be the backup to Tom Brady. How did this fight come to be?
Well, as we sat down and started to negotiate, Floyd is actually surrounded by some really smart people. And Al Heyman being one of them. I got in a room 4 times with Al Heyman for a few hours and we got a deal done. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And it moved a lot quicker than I thought it would. So here we are.
Were you surprised by the recent news that Floyd actually needs this fight to pay off the IRS?
Floyd, no, it doesn't surprise me. Floyd spends a lot of money. He's definitely a fan of money. He loves to spend it. And, I'm not surprised that he needs money.
If you had known he had needed this much, would you have held out a little longer?
I had a feeling he needed the money anyway. This wasn't.
That's why he's fighting.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that I would have done anything differently in negotiations. The negotiations went smooth. I think that everybody involved has a really fair deal, and whether Floyd needs the money or not, good for him. He's going to make it.
What do you expect The record is, 4.4 million buys with the Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather fight. What do you expect this fight to do?
I think the Vegas line over-under is 4.9 million. I think it's the biggest fight ever. The difference between Manny and Floyd, if you look at Conor is massive in Europe. He's massive in Australia, Brazil. I just think globally this is a much bigger fight than Mayweather-Pacquiao was.
Before we leave the press conference scenario, describe for us the Conor you know. Is there premeditation? Because when I watch him in his showmanship at the media sessions, he just unplugged. Just whatever, like he doesn't play by the same rules the rest of us do. You had the bottle incident and all. He's just going to do whatever comes to his head at that moment.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because I landed at LAX and he landed at the same exact time from Ireland. This kid gets off the flight from Ireland dressed like they just fitted him at Armani, all fired up and basically telling me, I will knock this man out within 4 rounds. And one of the cool things about Conor is Conor doesn't just go out and say stuff to say it. Mm-hmm. I don't doubt this kid anymore. When we went on the world tour with him and Jose Aldo, he was out there saying, I'm going to knock him out in the first round. I was like, pump the brakes. You're going to go out and put yourself in a position where, you're saying you're going to do this and do that. He knocked him out in 13 seconds, the greatest 145-pounder in UFC history, the only 145-pound champion in UFC history. So I don't doubt him much anymore.
But here's the thing, though. Conor is a great, when you fight MMA, you really need to be good in a lot of different tactics. Striking, submitting, takedowns, all that stuff. And Floyd is an all-time great boxer. Right. Now, Conor boxed a little bit, but I would look at it like the equivalent of a decathlete. Good at a lot of different things. Hurdling, jumping, throwing. All of a sudden says, you know what, I want to race Usain Bolt, and I'm going to beat him.
I agree with you, except for the fact that this year Floyd will be 41 years old. Mm-hmm. Conor McGregor is 28.
Okay.
And then a fight, one thing and only one thing matters. How hard do you hit? Conor McGregor is a knockout artist. If he hits you, you go. If he hurts you, he will finish you.
But 10-ounce gloves compared to 4-ounce gloves, that's got to be something, Dana. You know that now.
Let me tell you what, it still hurts with 10-ounce gloves on. When you're against a guy who hits as hard as Conor McGregor does, and when Conor gets you in trouble, he finishes you. If he connects with Floyd Mayweather, I guarantee you he will hurt him. And if he hurts him, he will knock him out.
So you're expecting him to be able to hit Floyd when Canelo and all these other guys couldn't?
Yeah, well, if you look, Floyd's going to be 41 this year. He's been inactive for 2 years. At some point, time does catch up with you. Fighting is a young man's game. Conor is young. He's a southpaw, and he hits like a truck.
Mm. You hear that?
Oh, you love this.
I loved it.
The best defense.
I'm completely biased, too. Conor's my guy. I mean, at the end of the day. But what I'm saying is absolute fact. It is true.
Okay, but Dana, can Conor win if it goes to the judges?
No.
No way.
I don't think he ends up winning a decision. But let me tell you this. Manny Pacquiao just got beat by a school teacher. So anything is possible.
And by the way, can I bring this up, please? Because we sparred about this. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan.
Me too.
But as soon as that fight ended, I turned to my wife. I told you, and I tweeted this. I was fearful he was going to lose because it felt close to me because the kid from Australia had pressed the issue all night long, and he was bigger and longer and stronger, and he basically just bullied Manny, and Manny's starting to show some age, right? And so it goes to the judges. Now they have rejudged it. They had 5 judges from around the world look at the tape. 3 said Jeff Horn flat out won the fight. 1 said Pacquiao did. This is on appeal from the Filipino organization. Right. And 1 said it was a draw. So my point is, those judges judged what I thought was fair and square because the aggressor should win the round. And Jeff Horn, more often than not, was the aggressor. It was a very close call. But my point in this is who's going to be the aggressor in this fight? Is there any doubt about it?
Right.
But if Conor is the aggressor and Floyd tries to duck and run for 12 rounds, which he is highly capable of doing, greatest defensive fighter ever, even at 40, going on 41. But if it goes to the judges, would you guess that the boxing judges would sort of protect their turf and not award a decision to the MMA fighter?
It's a great question. But in Vegas, what we're pushing for is for, a couple of the judges to be guys who have judged both.
Really?
So they're familiar with...
So that's not decided yet?
No, but that's what
that's a big deal to me.
That's what the plan is, yeah. And I think it's the fair thing to do. You can have a boxing judge, just a pure boxing judge, and then a couple of guys who are familiar with both MMA and boxing.
Are there enough
because there
of
are
those
guys
out there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are. And I don't know if you saw Bayless came out absolutely negative about the fight, which is a beautiful thing because we didn't want Bayless in there.
Kenny
anyway.
Bayless?
Yeah, Kenny. He's my man.
But let me ask you, do you think Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao? Because it's hard for me to see a guy that almost landed 1 more punches, landed 90 more power shots, and lose a fight.
So I thought Pacquiao won the fight. So at the end of the fight, because I went, oh, my God, Pacquiao lost the fight. I thought Pacquiao won. I thought it was, like you said, Horn pressed the action, and it was in his face all night, but Pacquiao won that fight. Yeah. At the end of the fight, the first thing I said is the dumbest matchmaking in the history of, but this is what boxing does. Right. Especially Bob Arum. He's a moron. So he deserves what he gets.
Yeah. You have had your issues with Mr. Arum before.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
What you do is you put your guy against the best. You could put him against another aging great. At least if he loses, he doesn't lose to a guy that nobody's ever heard of.
Nobody's ever heard of him.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Conor wins this fight. How do you get him to come back and fight in the UFC after making 100+ meals?
Well, yeah, if Conor wins this fight, oh my God! I mean, it's probably the biggest upset in sports history. You know, Conor will be the biggest athlete on the planet. And listen, I've worked with guys for many years who, you know, were young guys. They made a bunch of money and they never worked again. So you never know. In the fight game, Conor McGregor, I call him a unicorn. He's a very unique fighter and individual. He tells me, win, lose, or draw, he will fight again this year in mixed martial arts. He will defend his title. But you never know till it happens. When we start cashing those big checks.
So you told us what Conor thinks. He can knock him out in 4 rounds. What does Dana White think? Gut feeling at this moment? Yeah,
listen, in all honesty, bias aside, I stopped doubting this kid a long time ago. This kid believes in himself. He does hit hard. He's got 12 rounds to catch Floyd Mayweather with something big. So I believe that he can do it. We'll see.
But he's never fought that long before. You know, 5-minute rounds as opposed to 12 3-minute rounds.
And what he believes in that, we've talked extensively about that too. In a mixed martial arts fight, there's so much grappling and squeezing and you know, anaerobic. He believes that his cardio will be there. He will be ready to go 12 rounds.
This is going to be a walk in the park compared to what he. My God, if you saw the Nate Diaz, the second one.
I don't see this fight, Floyd coming out trying to exchange, and turn it into a fight, immediately with Conor. There's going to be a lot of moving around, a lot of head movement, a lot of defense, and, a lot of chess in the beginning, not a ton of cardio. I don't think it's going to be one of these fights like Hagler-Hearns where they're going to come out and just start dropping bombs on each other. So at the end of the day, I hope it's a good fight for the fans. And
Floyd's going to try to make it boring. Conor's going to try to make it interesting.
Yep.
And we're going to see which style can outlast the other.
You're absolutely right. Floyd's going to try to be defensive and stay away, and Conor's going to try to turn it into a street fight.
But that's the thing, though. As you know, if you look at Conor, when he hits people, they're normally trying to attack him. And he's throwing that left. He has that great feint to the right, and he throws that overhand left. But Floyd is not going to come to him. He's going to have to come to Floyd. And Dana, when you get into a situation where you're trying to throw punches, that's what Floyd wants you to do. How does he combat that?
Bigger, stronger, younger fighter, hitting you in the arms, hitting you to the body, and you can block it with your gloves and you can do all that. You still feel the impact. Can Conor break him down in 12 rounds and catch him with something big to put him away?
You believe he can. I'm looking at you. You believe he can do it. You believe he can catch it.
I believe that in a fight, anything is possible. This is a boxing match under boxing rules, but at the end of the day, it's a fight with a bigger, stronger, younger man who has knockout power. He is a knockout artist, and if he catches you, he will hurt you, and if he hurts you, he will finish you.
And if he does pull this off, what would it mean for UFC?
You've heard some guys out there, Oscar De La Hoya, talk about how this would destroy the sport of boxing and all this stuff. Yet he wanted Canelo to fight Conor. It doesn't hurt. I think it elevates everybody in combat sports. I think it elevates combat sports. I think there's going to be times where we're going to have huge mega fights that happen that everyone wants to see. So will boxing. And I think it's good for everyone. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather pulled that number. First of all, I said good for them. It's happy for them. And it shows me, where the mark is.
Yeah.
Right fight, right place, right time.
So I can see you go Triple G or Canelo. If your guy wins this fight, they're going to be fighting Conor next.
I don't know about that. I don't want to be doing this every weekend. But, that's a great fight, too. I will watch that fight. And I think that right now, if you look at the end of the year that we have coming up, with that fight, it's just a great time for people in combat sports.
Absolutely. It is. Make sure to check out Dana's Tuesday Night Contender Series. It kicks off tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on UFC Fight Pass. Dana, thank you for joining us. No mercy. If you're a NASCAR fan, there's a new podcast for you to subscribe to, Heritage Road, the podcast that drives you down memory lane, takes you under the hood, and gets you behind the wheel of America's favorite racing competition. They talk to the hardworking drivers, crewmen, and fans that make NASCAR possible then and now. From NASCAR royalty Bobby Allen Allison, to the broadcasters that brought you racing in homes around the country. They've got all the stories you've probably never heard before. Hosted by the voice of Texas Motor Speedway, Rich Phillips. Brought to you by Busch, the beer that has supported racing since 1979. Subscribe to Heritage Road today for free wherever you listen to podcasts. No mercy. Our next guest is coming off a career year with my Heat and just signed a 4-year deal to stay in Miami. Dion Waiters, welcome to Undisputed.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So, Mr. Waiters, the day you re-signed with the Miami Heat, I immediately plunged right out onto the end of the limb, and I predicted the Heat will make it to the conference finals against the Cavaliers, and that man laughed. So I would like for you to please educate him as to why that is about to happen.
We're a scary team. We're a scary team.
They are. That's a good word for it.
We got a lot of different many pieces who we all was counted out. Nobody gave us a chance for real. And, you know, we got with Coach Spo and Coach Pat. You know, they seen something in us. And from day one, and it started with training camp. And I think from there on out, we knew we was underdogs, and we feel as though we had something to prove. We had something to prove, and Coach Spo told us, he said that this is a great opportunity for you guys. And, you know, you listen to us and follow directions, follow the things we got set up for you. You're going to be fine, and that's what we did.
How do you pick up where you left off from last year? You closed the season, 30-11. You get injured, but how do you start fast to make sure you don't fall into that same trap that you fell in last year where you start so far behind and you have to make up so much ground?
Because we had chemistry. We got chemistry. We know what it is. Everybody know their roles. And once again, you got to be a star in your role, whatever it is. And I think coming to this season, we know what's at stake. We know that nasty taste we had in our mouth from last season by missing the playoff by one game. So, you know, unfortunately, I went down, but I feel as though they still could have made it. But, you know, sometimes the ball just roll like that.
How does Kelly Man Bun Olynyk, the re-signing of James Johnson, how does that help you? Really, I mean, he thinks you can actually beat the Cavaliers and get to them.
I did not say that. I said you can give them all they want.
I think we can, too. Last year, I feel as though we got anywhere in the playoff,
y'all have been scared.
Yeah, we've been scared. I don't think nobody wanted to see us last year.
Yeah, I agree. So, Shannon, you remember what I told you. From January 17th to March 17th, that's 3 months.
Yep.
You had the NBA's best record over that stretch, a 23-5. And you averaged in that stretch 18, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, which the 5 assists is pretty impressive. That's a whole new facet of your game.
What's so funny is I always could pass. It just always went unnoticed.
Well, I noticed.
It's hard to notice.
I noticed.
But here's what I noticed in that stretch. You made 45% of your three-point shots. And I've always said about you, you are a fearless three-point shooter. No matter what's on the line, what's at stake, you will take and often make that shot.
See, back in my younger days, like when I first got drafted, the GM from the Cavs, CG, he always told me, he said, listen, I need you to shoot more threes and attack. But I was so stubborn, I never really wanted to listen to it. Like, why you want me to shoot a bunch of threes? My game is, you know, getting to the basket and things like that. So, you know, the older I got, the more mature I got, and now that I finally understand, so I knew all along what he wanted me to do. So I should have just listened from day one.
So,
go ahead.
But what was clicking in those 3 months? Whiteside, Dragic.
To be honest, I just got in the best shape of my life.
Really?
And yeah, I just got in the best shape of my life, and you know, I had talks with Coach Pat, and he just told me when you come back, you're gonna take off. I feel it, and I don't know what's up there in his mind and his brain, but whatever's up there, everything he said that was gonna happen, it came to fruition for me. And,
how did you get in the best shape of your life?
Just work every day. Just work every day. When I wasn't on the court, you know, it was killing me because I wanted to be out there with the guys, but you know, I had to take care of my body. I had to get right. I had to get my body right, and I did.
And then you must have had a horrendous ankle injury because it ended the whole rest of the season.
It was one of the worst ankle injuries I ever had.
Yep.
Yeah,
what's it now?
It's good. It's probably like 90%. It's still like a little swollen, but I'm fine. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You team go 30-11. You miss the playoffs, but your confidence, you have to be playing with extreme confidence now. What did last season do for your confidence? Because I thought you strike me as always a confident guy.
Oh, man, I would never lose confidence. I think everybody know that. I just think that what gets me over the hump. over most guys, I think just never telling myself I can't or I won't.
Right.
Or I come from Philly, man. If I survived that, so I feel like I can survive anything.
Right.
Hey,
So-
South Philly, right?
Yeah, South Philadelphia. So that's my whole mindset, man. Just going in there, being confident in the shots, being confident in myself, making sure I'm putting confidence in my guys too. If they see me with all the confidence in the world, hopefully it's giving them confidence to have the same confidence that I got. So I think going into a game or any situation, I always tell the guy, listen, man, we underdogs anyway. We come out here to play our game, we're going to make some noise. I always tell them that. We're going to make noise. And I think second half of the season, I think the league took notice.
No Paul Millsap, no Paul George, no Jimmy Butler. You looking at a possible All-Star berth?
Yeah, no question. No question. And, but it starts with work. And I think you got to work and let everything else take care of itself. I'm not going into the season like I want to make the All-Star game. I'm not going there with individual goals. You see what I'm saying? I just want to go in there, like I said, in the best shape of my life and pick up where we left off at.
Do you feel you need to prove something because you got this new big contract?
I don't need to prove nothing. At the end of the day, I just want to continue to get better. Honestly, I just want to continue to get better. But I'm a competitor. So at the end of the day, I want to go out there. I want to beat everybody, no matter what. The money don't mean nothing to me.
Hey,
So
hold on, Skip. Keep this between me and you. You see that money Otto Porter Jr. got?
Yeah.
Dang.
Congratulations.
Work on my shot.
Yeah, congratulations.
are you saying you're jealous? A little bit? Yeah.
You deserve it, man. Whatever you got, you deserve it.
So you played with LeBron and Kyrie for a little while.
Yeah.
You see them now from a distance. You beat them during that hot streak up in Cleveland. They didn't have Kevin Love that night, but still, you beat them.
Yeah, we didn't have Tyler Johnson or Jimmy
That's
Johnson.
well said. I'm with you.
Oh, you talking? You gonna
Hey,
make me get on the phone? He gonna make me get on the phone,
Let
Skip.
this man talk. Let him talk. How vulnerable do you view those Cavaliers going into next year?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't been keeping up with all the, signings and things like that. After I got my deal done, I ain't really care about nobody else for real. But they got LeBron, man. They got Kyrie, so they got Kevin Love, Tristan. They're still good at the end of the day. They still have talent. I don't know the move they're making or what they're trying to do.
They haven't done much.
Yeah, so we had to sit and wait and see what goes on. But we're not worrying about that. It was all about Miami Heat for the culture. And that's all it's about.
LeBron. Dion's on the show. Talking about y'all worried about the Heat. What you think about that? Hey, dude, you gonna make me call him? I don't want to call him.
Call him.
I want to call him and make him average a triple-double on y'all the 4 times y'all played this year. Is that what you want?
What was the record last year against Cleveland?
Yeah, what was it? Shannon?
LeBron sat out.
Wait, seems like it was 3.
How many times, bro?
3-1.
3-1.
I think
That's interesting.
3-1 or 2-2.
Oh, so you bragging about that, huh?
Nah.
Oh, yeah, you bragging.
I'm not bragging.
You know LeBron watched this show.
I hope you do.
Okay, that's all right.
So if you did get to the conference finals and face them, you would give yourselves a good shot to beat them.
Yeah, I like our chances against anybody over 7 games. We just different, man. We dogs. We just a bunch of dogs, man. That's it. Like, come from the jungle. That's our motto. Come from the jungle.
And Hassan can be a force,
No
man.
question.
Ooh.
He can be the most dominant big if he want to. So, I just think like our lineup, our chemistry is just different. We got a bunch of guys who do every little thing. Like James Johnson played 1 through 5. We got Wayne Ellington. We got Jay Rich, Justin Winslow. We got Kelly Olynyk now. We got Bam, the kid we just drafted.
Bam's
Monster.
he's been throwing his weight
Little
around,
monster,
man.
yeah. So, and of course you got me. You got the dog.
You got the dog.
So,
Yeah.
I like our chances against anybody. And I should feel like that because I know what we could do.
But you know the big dog who been patrolling the East Yard for the last 8 years?
No
Who is
question.
that?
No question. I
Who?
know it is.
You know who it is?
Kevin Love?
No, stop playing. Stop playing. You know that woo, Skip.
Yeah, that big dog.
Woo.
Yeah, he knows him. He knows what he is, and he knows what he isn't. He knows where the vulnerabilities
There
are.
ain't no vulnerability.
Yeah, there are. There are.
He's Samson.
Yeah.
Minus the hair. He don't need hair.
3-1 against them last year.
no mercy.
Dion Waiters is still with us. Dion, you were traded from the Cavs in 2015. There were reports that your relationship wasn't great with Kyrie Irving. Why didn't it work for you in Cleveland?
Oh, that's false, though. That wasn't true. Man, Kyrie, we was cool. Just rumors that came out that wasn't true at all. But, you know, I don't like to dwell on the past. It is what it is at the end of the day. I think everything happens for a reason, and I don't question it. So I'm just happy that I landed in Miami and had the opportunity of a lifetime. That's all.
But wasn't it just classic? You would clash with Kyrie because you're two alphas, you know, like.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like what people like made it seem to be. Like it wasn't like that. You know, yeah, sometimes you bump heads, of course. It happens all the time. You might see LeBron and Kyrie bump heads before. Like,
sure,
it's natural. Mm-hmm. I know you want the best for me. I want the best for him. At the end of the day, it's just one another pushing each other.
So why do you think Cleveland said you don't fit in this mix with LeBron and Kyrie?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't been told anything, you know. How it happened, I was traded when I finally got to start in Philly that night. I was in the lineup. And right before a tip-off, Raja Bell came up to me and said, "You've been traded." I'm like, okay, can I still play in the game? I just bought 100 tickets in front of my... I just bought 100 tickets. You know, everybody was there and things like that, but they said I couldn't play. So that's the last thing I remember about the whole situation. I've been moved on.
Did you have to go apologize to 100 people?
Nah, they understood because they got the news right there. You know, everybody got their phones nowadays, so it hits the media fast. But I was pissed, though.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
But then you move on to OKC.
Right. And that's probably the best thing that happened to me as far as career-wise and learning how to win and just being connected with a bunch of guys like that. And it made the transition easier. Like, KD was the first one to text me as soon as I landed in Oklahoma. As soon as I landed, he was the first guy to text me. And ever since then, that's been my big bro. Ever since then. Work out together. We do it. We went out every city and ate, you know, things like that. We just bonded.
Right.
Russ also. And I still talk to them guys to this day.
A basketball aside, what's the biggest difference between LeBron and KD? Forget it off the court, as far as personality and things of that nature.
I mean, they two great guys, though.
Yeah.
Like, they two great guys, believe it or not. And I know people probably just see him as basketball, but they're more than that. Like, LeBron is a guy who actually knows so much about the game.
Right.
And I was able to learn from just every day just seeing him constantly just take care of his body, you know, just being a pro's pro.
Right.
And I was able to learn from that. Like, wow, his regimen is crazy.
Right.
On an everyday basis. And, you know, with Kev, he just loved basketball. Like, our one-on-ones, I'm talking about, it's classic. Like,
trash talking.
Oh, my goodness, cussing each other out. And it was fun, though. Like,
right.
I would have never expected that. And, you know, when you finally meet a person and get to know a person,
right.
You're like, oh, this is real. This is authentic. And I'm an authentic guy. Like, you know, me, like, you see how I carry myself with the most confidence. You know, they call it irrational confidence. So when I got with Kev, I'm like, he a good. He remind him of myself. Like, he remind me of myself. Like, I'm like, well, I like that. I respect this.
Yeah. So how did they teach you to win? What's the one thing you learned from that whole group, the coaching staff? What did you?
I think just really not worrying about yourself. And that's what Kev preached to me. Like, bro, every night is not going to be your night. You got to understand that. And that was hard for me at first. You know, that was stuff I was battling with myself. I think I wanted it so bad. And I just had to be patient. He told me it's going to come. He told me, you might have 21 games, you might have 10. But in that moment, do something else. Be a stopper, get a rebound, block a shot, get an assist. And it started to click for me. Like, okay, I understand on a great team like this. And I was able to grow as a person.
Did you put so much pressure on yourself because you were drafted so high, and then here you are on your second team, and people starting to say, well, he might not be that guy. Did that start to wear on you?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, of course, because you expect so much out of yourself.
Correct.
Not what other people think. It's about what you think about yourself and what you expect from yourself. And I think, like I said again, I think I just wanted it so bad because I always told myself, I know if I had this opportunity, what I can do.
Right.
But I never really got that opportunity because I played with great players, but I was appreciative of playing with those great players to learn so much from them, to be able to be a sponge and just soak up everything, every little thing, and just, implement it to my game and to my lifestyle.
But as a player, while they're saying, okay, yeah, LeBron and Kyrie are great and Russ and Kev are great, you're thinking to yourself, I'm great too if I just get a chance.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. Like I said, man, like I'm not gonna never like settle for less.
Right.
At the end of the day, I got a son who I know will look up to me, so I can't go into a situation telling myself I can't, or I can't never let him hear me saying I can't or I won't.
Right.
So that's just how I am, man. That's why my confidence like that, because I think if I believe in myself, at the end of the day, I know what I could do. It's just giving the opportunity and the chance.
So go here for us. Carmelo Anthony, a Syracuse man, is now saying he's confident he will wind up with the Houston Rockets. Would that be a good fit for him? Would you like to see that happen for him?
Yeah, we got to see. Everybody think it's good, on paper when the teams are stacked like that. They don't realize that chemistry. Like they say, man, Rome wasn't built in one day. So,
You get 3 ball-dominant players on one team.
Somebody got to sacrifice.
A lot.
They don't strike. When you look at those guys, which guy strikes you as the guy that's going to sacrifice?
I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
Not his problem, right?
Yeah, they got to worry about that when it happens, if it happens.
Yeah. So what's your view of Lonzo Ball and his father?
I like Lonzo. I actually do, man. He's a pass-first point guard.
He is.
He can really pass the ball. I think he'll be fine. I think his father just putting a lot of pressure on him. And coming into the league, guys going to be gunning for him. So, but I guess he liked the pressure. He used to it. As he
grew up with it.
He grew up with it, so.
Do you think are they gunning for him more? Because, look, you hear LeVar says he's the number 2, high draft pick. He's the number 2 pick in the draft. They were going to be gunning for him anyway. Do you think it's more of an emphasis because they want to shut his father up?
That and he's just putting pressure on him. Like I said, he was going to be targeted anyway because he's number 2 pick. But I think guys are really just going to try to, like, his father says some crazy things. Like, but, I don't really pay attention.
He might be better than LeBron and Steph Curry and Russ.
That was crazy.
And Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Magic a 5-time champion. He's been in the finals 9 times, man. That's tough.
The man said his son better. Go be better. That's what he said. Now,
He's supposed to have all that confidence in his son, though. So I respect it because I say the same thing about my son. If it's true or if it's not, I'm still going to say it.
You gonna ride.
My son know I'm behind you 100%, baby.
So do you condemn LeVar for sort of over-loving his son, or?
Sometimes you just got to be real.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to, some things you just can't say. Especially when you're speaking on, things like guys who've been to the finals, who won MVPs, who proven themselves already. We've seen 2 or 3 games from him in the Summer League. Summer League don't mean anything. So.
He might be better than Michael.
Who?
Lonzo!
Michael who?
Stop.
You know who. The Jump Man.
The GOAT?
Logo. That's what LeVar said. I'm just telling you.
I don't know, man. I don't pay attention to the media like that. So. I didn't hear him say that.
Next year, conference finals. You ready?
No question.
You ready, Shannon?
The East is not that dominant, man.
Hey, no.
Thank you.
The East is not that dominant.
The East ain't never been dominant.
Thank you.
It's been dominated by one man.
Of course, yeah.
It's the Emperor.
Wait a second.
I respect
you
that.
think this man is afraid of that man?
Look.
This man grew up with that.
It actually your question.
Wait.
Do you?
That man
Do you, Shannon?
he from Akron. The Act Nasty.
He's from South Philly.
The Act Nasty. You know about Act Nasty?
Oh, please.
You know about it.
Yeah.
Are you going to answer, Shannon?
What?
Do you think he's afraid of LeBron?
No, I know he's not. That's LeBron. LeBron don't want a man to be afraid of.
I just needed you to clear that up.
Y'all can see if you afraid of him, you going to run.
We got to leave it there. Dion.
LeBron don't want nobody to run. He want to
Thanks
look
for
at
joining
him.
us. No mercy. Yankees Yankees rookie sensation Aaron Judge won last night's home run derby in Miami. Judge hit 47 homers, 4 of them going at least 500 feet. But before the derby, Fox Sports baseball analyst Alex Rodriguez was on the herd and compared Judge to LeBron. Let's take a listen.
For the first time in a long time, we have a LeBron James type of personality and size that can transcend sports. Here's a guy who's 6'7", 275 pounds, 9% body fat, 32-inch vertical. The guy bench presses 400 pounds, squats 500 pounds, and he's an amazing figure. I mean, and for the next generation to say, well, there's a guy that could be a tight end and an all-pro, and he chose baseball. Why can't I? And hopefully the kids are taking notes of Aaron Judge.
Shannon, is Judge becoming the LeBron of baseball?
I think he's on his way. I think what A-Rod means by that, Skip, LeBron had Karl Malone's size, but he could dribble and handle the basketball like magic, and he glided through the air effortlessly, like a Michael Jordan.
I'll buy
so when
that.
you combine all those things and you look at what he's doing, he's like, yeah, you know what? Because we've never seen a man this size. Think about this. Dave Winfield was the closest thing that I can remember. He was 6'6", 245. Aaron Judge is listed at 6'7", 282 pounds. That's almost 40 pounds heavier than Dave Winfield. Now, Dave Winfield was a special type of athlete.
He was.
He's the only man that was drafted in 3 different sports by 4 different leagues.
Correct.
ABA, NBA, NFL, and MLB. Had a 21 or 22-year career in the MLB. Skip, what this young man can do, and I picked him.
And by the way, Dave Winfield didn't have this kind of power even remotely. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Skip, I did pick him. You know, I don't want to glow.
You picked the favorite to win.
Skip,
You picked the favorite, and then you told me you were going to root against him because you thought it wasn't fair to him because it would launch him into too high of expectations. Isn't that what you said?
Look, I picked him to win, but I said even if he doesn't win, Skip, if I see a couple of 500-foot shots, I can live with it.
You saw 4.
And the thing is, Skip, I mean, and the way he does it so effortlessly, it almost looks like it's a foul tip, and the ball is going over the fence. He has power to all fields, and he's 6'7", 282, and he's playing for the most recognizable sports franchise in all the world, especially in North America. He plays for the Yankees, and if you look at Jeter, Jeter was a great player, but Skip, he didn't have this kind of power. And what did the commercial say? Greg Maddux and Tommy Glavine? Chicks dig the long ball. Now, he plays with the de facto #1 sports franchise in North America. He's a 6'7", biracial gentleman who has great character.
He is a gentleman, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, he's the guy next door.
Yeah.
The only thing is he's going to have to duck to go through the doorway because he's 6'7" inches tall. Skip, I believe he's on his way. Because if you look at the other 2 guys that are comparable to him, you look at Mike Trout. He plays for the Angels, and he's really not special. He doesn't have that pizzazz. He doesn't say, I mean, if Mike Trout walks down the street, he's like a common guy. Now, Bryce Harper, he has the personality.
He does.
But he played in D.C., playing for the Nationals. Now, if Harper played for the Yankees, now we'd be on to something. This gentleman plays for the Yankees. 30 home runs at the break, which broke the rookie record set by DiMaggio, played for a full season.
Yep.
Skip, this gentleman special. You saw his power on full display. He hit, everybody else was hitting the ball as far as they could. He was hitting the ball as far as he wanted to. And it seemed so effortless to all areas of the field. You think the ball's going to slice foul. You're like, how did he keep it fair? And how did he get it over the fence? Skip, I believe he's on his way. Now, if he wins a championship or 2, now we really can put him in that LeBron. Now, he's not the prodigy LeBron was because LeBron jumped into our vernacular at the age of 16 or 17. I didn't know who this guy was until this year in the Aaron Judge, and you saw him hitting the ball over the fence. But, Skip, I believe so. I believe he's a guy that can transcend sports because he plays for the Yankees. He hits for power. He hits for average. He's charismatic. He checks all the boxes.
Yep.
Nice, articulate, handsome. Guy next door, check, check, check. Yankees, check. Home run hitter, check.
Tattoo on upper back, the chosen one. Does he
Stop!
have that? I was just wondering. You said he checked every box. He didn't check that. I don't know. I haven't seen him without a shirt on. Maybe he does have a big tattoo that says chosen one. I don't know.
He should. And he got the UC 1984. You know, he said.
Yeah, I know. I know all those. Yeah.
And Glow. That's born to one Glow James.
I liked everything you just said, and I'm going to add a lot to what you just said. In one huge way, forgive me for pointing this out, Aaron Judge is already way beyond LeBron James because Aaron Judge, as a rookie, participated in the home run derby. And LeBron James, after 14 NBA seasons, still hasn't participated in his first slam dunk contest.
And he's not.
Where are you, LeBron? What happened? Where were you when we needed you? Come on. As a rookie or a second-year player or third-year player, you couldn't have done just one dunk contest?
Skip, I'll give
just
you
one?
that. And once he got past year 3 or 4, Skip, you know it wasn't
I got it.
happen.
After that, it was over. Although he kept dropping hints, and even into year 7, 8, and 9, he kept saying, "Yeah, next year I'll do it. Next year I'll do it." And this is my theory, and I think it's the true theory. LeBron dreaded being on that solo stage against a potentially hot opponent who had come up with some shocking new slam dunk move and captivated the crowd. There's a lot of pressure in a slam dunk contest, just as there's a whole lot of pressure in what we just witnessed last night. And all of the pressure was on, you could talk about Stanton. My pick, obviously, is the hometown favorite and defending champ, but he had already won one, so he had that in his bank. But everybody expected Aaron Judge to dominate, and Aaron Judge had to wait almost an hour and a half before he took his first swing last night.
He did.
You want to talk about escalating, building, clock-ticking pressure? He had to sit and wait and then do his ESPN interview while others are going bomb, 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 bomb. And then he had to watch Justin Bohr go out of his mind. Your man from the Marlins.
He was crazy.
And he went Jason Bourne, did Justin Bohr. I mean, it was just bashing away, right? Blast, blast, blast. He goes all the way to 22, and now Aaron Judge is like, now I have to do this? After all this? He probably sweated away half of his water intake just watching, right?
The judge don't.
Hey,
because the judge,
here came the judge.
He get to determine how much time you serve.
And I loved his poise, and he didn't overswing from the start. Of course, he just got awesome talent, so he didn't have to reach the way everybody else was having to reach back. And yet, to overcome what Justin Bohr had done, remember, he needed 30 seconds in the first round of his bonus time that you get for hitting two 444-foot shots. And then there was one big controversy about a ball that he had hit off the roof that didn't count, that the ESPN commentators thought had counted. And all of a sudden they're thinking, wait a minute. They're throwing one quick pitch to him at the end of right before the buzzer, and he jacks that one out. So guess what? He's already a little ahead of LeBron. He was clutch. I mean, was that not clutch? Seriously, that was big-time clutch. He almost got eliminated in the first round the way Stanton did, right?
And the thing was, Skip, is that you mentioned the guy hits 22 home runs in his home park. And if you remember, there have been times, Skip, you've advanced winning 6-5. You're advancing winning 8-7. The guy hits 22.
23 to 22? That's what it took to survive to the second round? Are you kidding?
And what do you try to do, Skip? You try to put pressure on the other guy and make him falter. If I jump out here to 20-something plus, what's the likelihood of him following that up? Because as you mentioned, he's going to try to swing out of his shoes. He's going to get out of what his natural swing. It looked to me that his natural swing was a home run derby swing. We've seen guys that get into this and they try to swing for the fences, which is not a natural swing, a natural baseball swing.
Correct.
He didn't look like he deviated.
You're talking about
Judge,
yeah. But Justin Bohr looked like he was made for this, too, because he's lighting up and getting the home crowd.
Get into it.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, he has captivated the crowd, and it would have been LeBron's worst nightmare in a slam dunk if the hometown favorite, or one of the two, had taken over the whole building just before you have to perform.
And what did Judge do? He did to LeBron. He hit 23 and started silencing.
Yeah.
Get down.
Yeah, I don't know if he did that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. I didn't see any
Skip.
showmanship whatsoever. But I will get, obviously we talked about his size and his nature and his personality. All check all those boxes. But he is comparable to LeBron in what I call awesome talent, because it's highly trained, highly skilled talent. And I always tell you, LeBron is still the best passer in basketball, and his fundamentals are impeccable.
Yes.
He plays exactly the right way, which is why Greg Popovich loves him to LeBron and vice versa, which is why LeBron's going to wind up in San Antonio next year, as we all know.
Oh, you hoping.
No, you're dreading is what's happening. Chris Broussard is all but predicting it, right?
Yeah, I might have to,
might
find me a new guy.
Okay. So here's what got me. I have watched, I'm pretty sure, every pitch of every home run derby ever played.
Yes.
And I covered a whole bunch of them. But I have never seen anyone do what Aaron Judge did last night, which is even the poor pitches that were thrown to him, he acted like it was a real game where I have to hit the pitch on the outside part of the plate. I'm going to change my route to the ball. I'm going to inside out that pitch on the outside corner, and I'm going to take it to right field. You don't have to do that. The rules let you wait. You can just take the pitch. You're not going to strike out, right?
Everybody wants the perfect pitch.
You want the wheelhouse. Yep. You want to be able to pull it and jack it, right?
Yep.
But he would, on poor pitches away, he would say, okay, I've got to change my route to the ball. I'm going to go inside out, and I'm going to hit majestic slice fly balls. Slice fly balls. They look like foul balls coming off his bat, and they would go 12 rows deep, straight away right field. He hit 15 home runs to straight away right field.
Yes.
15, that's impossible, which is why Joe Torre, Mr. Torre, when he presented him the award at the end of the show, he said, you used the whole field. I've never seen anybody use the whole field in a home run derby contest. And when he would hit them, I would think, oh, he didn't get all that. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He got plenty of it, right?
Yes.
And he's using that Charlie Lau method that's very old school that A-Rod used and George Brett before him, where you release your top hand at contact and then you follow through with just your left hand.
Right.
It's old school and it's beautiful to watch because it looks perfect, right?
Yes,
he looks like highly skilled, huge, awesome talent. So he's not just swinging from the heels. And to your point about effortless, easy power, everybody ran out of gas except him because he looked like he was taking batting practice swings. Stanton had the most impressive power surge of the night, was his first at his, when he lost in the first round, obviously. But he must have hit 5 or 6 in a row, just crushed him. And I thought, here he comes. And all of a sudden, he just ran out of gas. And starts popping the ball up and hitting ground balls. And you could just see he was just wasted because it is draining and grueling to have to do this, unless you're taking batting practice swings. So he dominated. He actually toyed with the contest because he didn't even seem gassed, did Aaron Judge.
And he won, Skip, and didn't use all his allotted time. Yeah. He still had time to hit more, but he's like, I got nothing. Like LeBron. LeBron get a triple-dub and he go sit down.
I will give you this about LeBron. This is the comparison. There are nights when LeBron will score 30 points, and I'll say, I don't even remember him. How did he do that? Quiet, easy power, right? That's the comparison. But here's where you lose me on this comparison so far. Just before the break, last 25 games, Aaron Judge's New York Yankees went 7-18. That was the worst record of those in that 25-game stretch in all of baseball. He was not able to carry his team through that slump. And again, he doesn't pitch, but you and I know there are certain hitters who can just ignite and carry a team and get it over the hump. So they've now fallen to 45-41. Meanwhile, the kid in Los Angeles, who doesn't have near this kind of power, Cody Bellinger, he came up on April 25th when the Dodgers were 9-11. And what has happened since he ignited them?
Got like 25 homers.
52-18 is the Dodgers' record since Cody Bellinger was called up. So he is carrying or igniting them in ways that Aaron Judge hasn't quite been able to carry and ignite the Yankees yet. I know they're just kids now, but I'm just saying.
But Skip, give Kershaw. Kershaw has a 2.18 ERA.
You got it.
And the pitching, I mean, think about how many leads they've blown. Dylan Betances is normally lights out.
I got it.
And then they missed what? They missed a month with no Chapman. So once the pitching get right, I think they'll be fine. But let's put this in context of just how big this gentleman is. We all marvel at just how big Gronk is. He's bigger than Gronk. He's bigger than Gronk. He's the average size of a small forward in the NBA, which is about 6'6", 6'7". Gronk is one of the biggest men I've seen that play football, that play a skill position. And watching him and seeing him on the field, I'm in awe. And I've seen a lot of big men. I lined up for 2 seasons right next to Jonathan Ogden. He's 6'9 and a half, 345. But Gronk, for a skill player, Skip, is about 6'6.5", maybe 6'7", about 280. And this young man is a little bit bigger than he is. But like you said, Skip, he checks all the boxes.
But he's not Mongo. Do you know Blazing Saddles?
Yes,
he's not a Mongo.
No.
Mongo.
No,
he's
fluid.
He's got the whole package, and he's a smart kid and a well-spoken kid. He does say all the right things. He doesn't display LeBron's edge yet. Every time LeBron opens his mouth after a game, something usually controversial comes out. It's always something. Every night he is the drama king, right?
Yes.
So we don't see that yet, the entertainment side.
I mean, once he gets a couple of MVPs and a couple World Series, it'll come. Skip, you remember great.
Are you predicting that?
No. I'm just saying you're trying to get on my man Bron. I ain't gonna let you do that until he goes to San Antonio. Then you can just pile on all you want to.
Well,
Skip,
you're off the bandwagon.
I'm a fan. I'm gonna ride with it. Skip. I'm gonna stick with it. We remember the great power hitters. You mean Dave Kingman, Greg Luzinski. Those guys, all they could do, they either hit the ball over the fence or they struck out. Skip, this guy's batting .329. He's a legitimate threat for the Triple Crown. He has 30 homers, .329, I think, 66, 67 RBIs. Skip, when you have those kind of numbers, and it's like, okay, you say being a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys is different than being a quarterback anywhere else. Well, playing baseball in Yankee Stadium.
You're right. I agree.
Or in New York is a lot different than playing anywhere else because we've seen some of the greats play great everywhere else. But when they go there, they can't. Think about Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson in the Hall of Fame. He's arguably the second, maybe the best left-handed pitcher. You go Sandy Koufax. But he's one of the top 5 pitchers of all time.
I agree.
New York ate him up.
It did.
It ate him up.
I completely agree.
Got through a perfect game, through no-hitters, had electric stuff, 20 strikeouts. But he went to New York. This kid is playing on the biggest stage 82 times a year in that stadium, in that market. And it's like, it doesn't even bother him.
It doesn't bother him. He shows great poise and maturity, and he may have to watch what he says because in that market, you just have to watch everything that comes out of his mouth.
Do.
Yeah.
And the difference is, I mean, hey, Derek Jeter was biracial. Derek Jeter didn't have this kind of power. But can you imagine a guy winning a World Series or 2 and an MVP with his power? Oh, he'll be bigger than Jeter. He'll be bigger.
So? Boy,
Skip. Because
you got to show me some leadership and winners intangibles first, and that's hard to measure up to Derek Jeter.
Why did everybody love Babe Ruth? Because he could do something no one else could do. He could consistently hit the ball over the fence.
He could.
And there are a lot of guys, Tony Gwynn. Great, led the league in batting at Wade Boggs, all these slap hitters.
I agree.
But it was the guys that can put the ball over the fence that we gravitate to. And that's what he can do. Well, he can hit the ball over, over the fence, out of the park.
The greatest, most popular stretch in baseball history, unfortunately, was the Summer of Love, the great home run chase. McGuire and Sofa, it was PED fueled, but I covered every game down the stretch of Sammy Sosa versus McGuire. And it was one of the highlights of my career, tainted or not.
Do we know who won the batting title that year?
No.
Nobody cares. And that's what this young man can do, Skip. I mean, I've never seen power like this, Skip. I mean, 513, 501, 500, 503 or 4.
Although Stanton had a longer average home run last night. But
yeah, because he went out. Yeah, he didn't hit, but what?
No, he hit.
He had 16.
16 compared to 47, Skip.
Well, yeah, he went out earlier. But
I told you what was going to happen. I foretold him this.
You're the baseball guru of the show.
No.
It's between you and Rob Parker. I don't know. It's a
so edgy of you.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge reminds me a lot of Stan. He's got to do.
I should have brought a robe
first before you start getting into.
And one of the George Washington wigs. All right.
Oh, so you're on that bandwagon.
Yeah. Well, of course. No mercy. Lonzo Ball missed last night's Summer League game against the Kings with a groin injury. Reports say the injury isn't considered serious and the Lakers were just being cautious. Ball would have faced De'Aaron Fox, who he had 2 highly publicized matchups against in college. Before the game, Fox tweeted a facepalm emoji and then deleted it. Fox said he was just joking with the tweet. Skip, what's your take?
Look, as you know, I'm the biggest Lonzo fan.
You are.
I stand by what I said before the draft. He is going to change Laker Nation life and put them back on the Western Conference map. And he will become the most valuable player in what I think is going to become a great draft crop. He is a difference maker and a transcendental player, if you will. But I'll be the first to admit, after what I saw and read last night, and then I slept on it, this isn't a great look for Lonzo, no matter how you slice it or defend it or rationalize it. I have no idea if he was or was not hurt with some sort of minor groin issue. Obviously, he was able to finish the game on Saturday night. So is it possible they had a little practice on Sunday and he tweaked it? It's possible. Is it possible he tweaked it Saturday night and it was just bothering him a little bit on Sunday? It's possible. It's more probable that Brandon Ingram was not going to be allowed to play after he had what looked like a serious cramp. It looked like a knee injury at first, but he was going to be out. Kyle Kuzma, another one. I don't know what happens to the Lakers and cramps. Maybe they don't hydrate correctly in Las Vegas. It's been very hot, obviously. So he was going to miss the game with cramps, and Josh Hart had an ankle injury. So all of a sudden, I think Magic Johnson sat back and said, now, wait a second. I don't want to send Lonzo into, quote-unquote, battle without his troops.
Right.
Because he was going to be going solo against the De'Aaron Fox, who obviously torched him for 39 points in that Sweet 16 game. And I think Magic said, let's just avoid this situation. Let's not throw him to those wolves just yet. Let's let him, when he takes on De'Aaron in the regular season, or maybe again at some point in the Summer League, let's make sure he goes in full strength. So, look, remember, back on December 3rd, Lonzo led his team into Rupp Arena, and he played huge in that game. I thought he dominated the game. You can't really see it as great in the box score, but I watched it from start to finish, and I couldn't stop watching it because Lonzo took the game over, and De'Aaron was very good in that game, but Lonzo was better. So he has that notch on his belt. So it's not like they're 50-50. They're even Steven at this point, and yet, do I think he was hurt? I don't know, and I don't really care. Did he duck him? He didn't really duck him, but I think he avoided him. I think that's the better word. And yet I had one battle with LeVar, and I was doing a Facebook Live with LeVar, and he tried to tell me that Lonzo had a pulled hamstring the night of that Sweet 16 game in Memphis. And I said, I'm sorry, LeVar, I can't buy that one because I watched that game from start to finish and was pretty astonished by it. And did I see Lonzo show any gimpiness or drag his leg? No. And you know and I know what happens with a hamstring. Once it starts to go, you are done, man.
Yeah.
And you can drag it around all you want, but you're going to be grimacing and wincing. And I saw zero of that in that game. I saw Alonzo who couldn't move his feet quickly enough to keep De'Aaron in front of him. And I also say the excuse that LeVar deserved to make for his number one son was the mom had just had a very serious stroke, and she was in the hospital, and the two younger brothers and the father had to remain back in Southern California with her in the hospital. Well, that's excuse enough for me, so don't tell me about hamstrings. And in this case, I don't really want to hear about groins. I just think you avoided what could have been a little bit of an awkward night and situation.
Skip, I agree with you to a certain extent. I believe that maybe he had the old, if it was the regular season or a playoff game, I could have played.
Yeah.
But since it's the summer league, I'm not going to risk it.
Okay.
But what I believe, too, with what you said, is that Magic is looking at like this. I don't want this to get into a Lonzo, De'Aaron Fox situation in summer league. There will be enough of that during the regular season for time to come. They're in the same conference. They don't play each other I don't know how many times they play each other, but they play each other a lot more than if he was in one of the guys within a different conference.
Yep.
But Skip and De'Aaron Fox, now he took the high road at the end, but I think he believed that
he did.
Lonzo was ducking him.
Yep.
And as
he tweeted and deleted something that expressed
his true feelings in the beginning.
Yeah. And what do we say that emoji means? It expresses that you're embarrassed
you don't want to see
for someone.
It's like putting your hands in your face.
You know, you're embarrassed at their ineptitude. Right. That's the sort of the literal definition of it. But whatever, he's made some very strong statements anti-LeVar, has De'Aaron Fox.
And it might mean he didn't want to see me.
Yeah.
That
could be. It's more to the forehead.
Yeah, but the thing is, Skip, is that as you mentioned, okay, they played twice. Lonzo went to De'Aaron Fox building and won.
He did.
But everybody will remember that Sweet 16.
That's all that anybody wants to talk about.
Because De'Aaron Fox, you knew who he was a little bit, and maybe he was going to be a first-round draft pick, but he jumped into the top 10 with that performance.
I have not seen that from him all year long.
Exactly. Lonzo could not keep him out the paint, and when he tried to play off him, he was pulling up in his mug with 3. And this kid, and a lot of Vegas odds said this is the guy that's going to win Rookie of the Year. Now, you think Lonzo's going to win it, but Vegas tend to think he's going to win it. And he looks special. He looks fast. He plays fast.
He does.
And I agree with you. I just think that Magic was like, okay, if De'Aaron Fox goes off and gets 25 points and Lonzo doesn't have all his guys, everybody's going to say Fox cooked Lonzo again. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to look, I don't care what anybody says. When you're a young player, your psyche is very fragile. And you don't want, and Magic knowing he doesn't want anything to damage that. You don't want to give any reason for this young man to doubt himself. And I believe Magic did the right thing, but it's like all these other guys are not playing, you're not playing. Mm-hmm. And why risk it, Skip? I mean, even if it's the slightest, don't have something nag and linger on when you can just take this time off. Let you and I psychoanalyze the situation of how, why, what happened.
And as you keep pointing out, this isn't even preseason. This is summer league.
Summer league, yeah.
Okay, so what's the point? Why let social media run rampant with this, run amok with it?
They already have. Yeah. Lonzo ducking him. Yeah. Lonzo scared. So what's going to happen in the regular? What's going to happen when he has to go against Kyrie or Steph or Chris Paul or all these guys? Look, there'll be enough time for that. That's the deepest. I believe the point guard position is the deepest position in all the NBA. So you get no nights off. But I think Magic, and if you remember, Skip, when Brandon Ingram got injured, Magic Johnson stood up and was like, that's it.
He did it this way.
You're
finished.
It's over.
Yeah.
So I don't know who the coach was at the time, but he's not playing not only is he not playing in this game anymore, he is not playing in the summer league anymore. Magic Johnson.
I think it was Judd Buechler. I may be wrong about that. I think he was the coach of the moment. But,
with that being said, Magic is like, look, I'm looking for down the road. There'll be a time and a place where Fox and Lonzo will play against each other, and then we'll let you critique it. But in a summer league game, we're not going to let – because Fox strikes me as a guy that he's going to be up to the challenge every night because he knows what he's up against. And he feels that he belongs in the breath of these other great point guards. So he's looking at Lonzo. He's like, you shouldn't have gone before me. I should be
That's
at
what
the
he
Lakers.
thinks.
That's how he thinks.
Yep, I agree. So one last thought on LeVar. And again, we both like him and have defended him. And I said I will never condemn or even criticize him for over-loving his son.
Right.
But sometimes you push that fine line of being overprotective, and I don't love it because at some point you got to let the young man grow up, and you have to force him into tougher situations. This is one, for all those reasons we just detailed, probably should have been avoided. But at some point you just got to throw him out there and let him figure it out. Tweaked groin or not. But
it's fun. You know what I'm starting to see, Skip? I see more guys willing to take shots at LeVar. You see Joel Embiid get into it with him on Twitter. Yep. You see De'Aaron Fox say things like, LeVar, you need to stop being a helicopter dad and let Lonzo play. We hear more about LeVar than we hear Lonzo. Yeah. We see what we're starting to see, and we've seen an uptick of this since LeVar has come into our vernacular, that more people are out on him than the son. They like the son, but they're starting to get to the point where they dislike and really despise the dad because they're willing to take more shots at him. Tell him to I would, no matter what, if I got into an argument with a player on the field or whatever, I would never talk to a person's parent like that. But they don't have, they're like, pfft.
Well, LeVar's put himself out there, you know.
Yeah, even if the parent, I'm not going to say, now you was another story. Your son, I might say, bleep him. But I'm not going to say that to a parent because I'm going to give him I'm going to give that adult that kind of, but your son, he got to hear about all this.
But just as a kid, as a young man, I don't know what's not to like about Lonzo.
Yeah.
Seriously. You can hate his game if you want or whatever, or have doubts about it. That's fine. But as a young man, and you got to give LeVar some credit for this. Yes. Is he not humble and unselfish to a fault?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's going to have to talk. He's going to get his talk game up to par like his dad.
I know. It would help. That's why I said yesterday he needs just a dose of his father.
LeVar, you want me to hook him up? Now I can hook him up now.
You could.
Oh, this talk game. I'm the lip sparring champ. Hashtag bust Skip up. Hashtag lip sparring champ.
Why do you lose every debate on this show? Huh?
No mercy. This is the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. Thank you to Dana White and Dion Waiters for joining the show. We're back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Fox Sports 1 of 1.